Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Apple Box Chronicles. My name is Peyton Buteau.
And I'm Adrian Thomas.
And today on the ABCs, we are taking you from A to Z on Edgar Wright's The Running Man, which just released last week at the time of you hearing this. This is a film that is ripe for the Apple Box Chronicles to talk about because it's kind of divisive, and it's a movie that has interesting intent behind it that I feel a lot of people are not giving credit. And what we always are trying to do is look at movies through the eyes of the filmmaker and try to figure out what they're going for. Whether it works for us is a whole different story, but try to at least be curious and open to what the movie is actually going for and share that with you guys. So, what is your history with Edgar Wright as a filmmaker?
Well, I've always liked his movies. I've never been a fan to some people's degree where they're like, his stuff is so great and like I love every single one of his movies. I do like a lot of his movies. Like I love Baby Driver. I think Scott Pilgrim stylistically is one of the coolest looking movies. Like the way that movie's shot and edited is so cool. And the Cornetto trilogy is just some of the best comedy writing in movies. And I think I just like him as a person and as a film lover, as a cinephile, and and obviously as a director. But I've never been like the type of guy who's like, Edgar Wright's like one of my favorite directors of all time. I've always respected him a lot, but I've never been like an Edgar Wright head, But I do love his stuff, and I do like this movie a lot too.
I think, been an Edgar Wright head at one point because I've always actually shared your sentiment on Scott Pilgrim. I agree about that. I do think that movie never hit the same for me as it does for a lot of people, but again, the style is mind-blowing. It's great. The Cornetto trilogy is fantastic. Those were movies that really, were, I guess, essential films when I was really trying to open my horizons on movies. Those movies, but it was Baby Driver when I saw that in theaters. The simple technique of editing the movie to the rhythm of the music was something, again, so simple, but that made me realize, movies can do cool stuff like this.
Yeah, and I loved Baby Driver when it came out and when I saw it because I was a bit... I loved it a lot, but I was also like very mad at the movie because the whole like action to music thing was always something I wanted to do in movies. I always had this idea of like shooting to the music, and he did that with Baby Driver, and I was like, dang it, I could have done that, but he did it first.
It's executed brilliantly,
and it's great, and I love everything about, not everything. There's some people in the movie that I don't love, but the overall vibe and what the movie's doing and all the car chase sequences and the action stuff is all like what I love. Is all the stuff that I love in an action movie, and it was
I love the romance in the movie too.
It's very cute. Yeah.
I think that movie is quite cute. I think that movie just it's so well paced. It's incredible. It's still to this day I think my favorite Wright movie, just because it has that special place for me.
I think it's still mine too.
But Hot Fuzz, we just rewatched that recently.
That's so good.
It's so good. All the Cornetto movies are great. And yeah, so we love Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
And I always don't think Edgar Wright, at this point, I just don't see him making a bad movie.
No.
Last Night in Soho was not everyone's cup of tea. I didn't love it, but I still appreciated some stuff. And over time, thinking back on it, I'm like, okay, now I know like more about Giallo and what he's kind of going for with that. When I saw it, I wasn't in that headspace. I was a little disappointed, but still, again, there's some stylistic stuff in that movie that's pretty great.
I think I've always liked Last Night in Soho because it was him doing something very different and something we weren't used to. And I think that's the problem with the audiences today, is that anytime a director does something that people aren't used to, automatically people are like, he's washed, this is not what I'm used to seeing, this is not the same person that I loved his other movies, but this one just doesn't work. And to some degree, if your expectations is in the wrong place, obviously that's going to come off as I don't know, it could deter some people, but if you, like we do on this podcast, if you're trying to look at a movie through the lens of the director and what they're trying to do, or the filmmakers, the movie becomes more obvious, and you could understand what the movie's trying to be and trying to show, and I don't know, the emotional impact of what the movie is actually trying to do.
Right.
But like, if you're going to Last Night in Soho and you're trying to get some sort of comedy out of it, like you did with the Cornetto trilogy, you're going in with false expectations, and you're gonna get a very different movie, and you're not gonna like that movie because your expectations are not in the place that it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing goes with The Running Man.
I think if you approach a movie and you're not open, just if you're not open when you go into something, that it might be different from, and it might actually be trying something other than what you expect, then yeah, your body will reject it, and you will be like, oh, this movie is boring and terrible. But it's like, it's because the reason that's happening, and I'm not trying to gaslight any of you. If you don't like the movie, that's fine. But the reason that's happening in many cases for a lot of films, I think, is because you are waiting for something you want to happen that might not be what the movie wants to do.
Yeah.
And so because you're in that constant state of waiting, you're like, okay, when's this going to do the thing I walked in here to see it do?
Yeah.
Then you have this sense of like, the movie needs to serve me, and that's why you will find the film boring. And you will also ignore things the movie is actually doing because of that constant sense of anticipation for something else.
And I think that's kind of a big problem with the growth in popularity of like superhero movies, like the MCU, because people are so aware of what the movies are trying to do, and because they have the comic books to look at and refer to, and you could kind of expect certain things from these movies, and the filmmakers obviously know that from the audience, and so they'll put in certain fan servicey kind of stuff in there, and I think that's kind of rotted the brains of a lot of people, where you go into a movie expecting, you know, well, Iron Man's going to do this because it happened in the comic book, and then he does it in the movie, and you're like, yeah, ooh, this is great. And you just go in knowing you want something, and then receiving that exact thing, or if it's even subverted in a different way, it's still in the same kind of the same type of thing that you would want to get in that movie, and you're not really led on to any different preferences or any different style or like direction that a movie can take. And nowadays people are looking at every movie like it's a Marvel movie. It's
right.
like people are going into Running Man assuming that, you know, it's just like consistent like editing and action and like witty top of the line comedy that you have seen from Edgar Wright in the past, but that's not what the movie's trying to be.
Right, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Briefly, I'm going to read the synopsis of the film. We will be spoiling this movie in this episode, so don't listen if you haven't seen it, but also go see it, because we both really like this movie.
And I think the movie needs a bit of support, and because it is saying a lot of like things about our society today and social commentary.
Yeah.
And I think people should watch it, yeah.
Right. I agree. So the synopsis on Letterboxd says, desperate to save his sick daughter, working-class Ben Richards is convinced by the Running Man's charming but ruthless producer to enter the deadly competition game as a last resort. But Ben's defiance, instincts, and grit turn him into an unexpected fan favorite and a threat to the entire system. As ratings skyrocket, so does the danger, and Ben must outwit not just the hunters, but a nation addicted to watching him fall. Wow. That's a long synopsis. I didn't expect that. It's kind of giving a little too much away, but I actually think that leads into what I think the movie is actually trying to do, and it sets the right expectation, the right tone for it. So
which is annoying.
Do you want to briefly mention just the? I guess it is annoying.
It's annoying the reaction that people have to this movie today.
Do you want to briefly mention the original since you've seen it?
Sure. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's kind of boring. It's all over the place.
It's very different.
It's very different from the book. From what I've been told, I haven't read the book, but our roommate has read the book, and he's told me what's happened in it a few times. And yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie is just not that, and it's
also not this.
It's not this at all. It's just a very completely different type of movie. It's a different type. It's not like he's running through the streets and people are trying to like take pictures of him and whatnot. No, this is like it's more like a I don't know, like a gladiator thing where where it's like these guys are trying to fight off the hunters, I guess. And yeah. It's kind of boring, honestly. It's not super great. I don't know. A lot of people don't like the movie anyway, and I don't really have a lot to say on it because I just don't really care much about it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's get into the one we do like.
Yeah.
So, spoilers, like I said. People don't like this movie right now.
Well, it's polarizing.
It's polarizing. A lot of people don't like it. Some people do. I've seen some people praise it, but out of all the people I know, I think you and me like this the most. Out of everyone that I personally know.
Yeah.
Why I think people don't like it is the main criticism that I see is Edgar Wright is anonymous in this movie. He's not present as a filmmaker. You don't feel his style like through the movie, and it feels like I've seen people say he's on autopilot. I think it's quite the opposite.
I think they're absolutely wrong about that.
I think that is incorrect.
Yeah.
I think autopilot would be this being another Baby Driver, another Hot Fuzz, another Scott Pilgrim, where he's throwing a hyper-stylized... Now, not to say those films aren't doing different things, they are, but it's like if he's just going to throw hyper-stylized editing and, quippy stuff on to every movie, then that is literally autopilot. Yeah. That is literally a gimmick. That is literally doing the same thing every time. And this movie is proving why Edgar Wright is great in its difference from other Edgar Wright movies. Because what Edgar Wright does, being a great director, is he adapts the directing style to the film material that he's working with.
It shows that he's versatile.
He's versatile. The story demands something more subdued. It demands something. It's literally... Okay, let's get this straight. It's literally a movie about a guy who is super angry about the system, but he's directing his anger in the wrong places. He makes a rash choice to join the show. He's convinced by an exec to say, "Hey, that thing you've got, that fire in you, that's you're gonna be so not only useful to me, but you can win this thing. You can do this, this thing, and it's because of that trait that you have." And he has to actively lay low and subdue that trait while also using it in certain areas to continue to survive and keep his quote-unquote ratings and popularity alive. Does this sound a little bit like maybe a filmmaker making a movie under studio where he kind of has to... He's like, oh, we need you because you have all these like abilities. But then he actually wants to say something about corruption, but he's working under this capitalistic entity known as the studio.
Yeah.
And so you have to balance these things. You have to balance, trying to tell an actual story and teach something to the world and put something out there that is meaningful and that has a message about society. But then people want the run and gun action too. And so Edgar Wright is in a place where he has to balance these two things because we know he can do the run and gun stuff really, really well. And so it's like he's trying to be like, okay, but we have to have a little bit of versatility here. I have to pull back a little bit so that you guys can actually get what I'm going for. I want to build out the world a little bit and send a message too. So I'm not saying it's like a fully one-to-one like meta movie, but I'm just saying that it kind of works with the character and the situation that he's in, the filmmaking style, and I think that's why Edgar Wright is so good at it.
Yeah, and like you said, the movie's very angry. Like, the character's very angry about the system and the social aspect of what's happening in their reality, which is very similar to our reality right now. And a lot of people are angry at everything that has been going on of the last, like, 10 years. And this movie is not trying to be funny. It's not, well, it is funny in certain scenes and ways, but it's not trying to be Shaun of the Dead. It's not trying to be Hot Fuzz. It's not trying to make light of these harsh situations that people are actually living through today, like right now.
Right.
And it's just stylized in this, like, alternate universe where people literally have to join game shows just to support their family, and might even die from doing it. And it's Edgar Wright putting out more emotions than just funny, silly stuff happening on the screen.
Right.
He's actually trying to say something serious and angry, and of something of substance here. Like, I feel like people are completely losing that. There's social commentary here. He's trying to say something. I think that's very obvious.
It is very
even
obvious.
some people are saying, yeah, he is trying to do something serious and something. He's trying to say something with this movie, but they're kind of tossing that away because they're not getting that same style that they're used to, which is basically people are saying that they want style over substance, which should never be the case, because as we've said before on this podcast, style is the substance.
Yes.
And the way to merge it is like the sweet spot. And I think he does have like a sweet spot in this movie where the style and the substance kind of work in tandem together.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think when you say the style is the substance, I think what that really means is that the style of the movie should clue you in on what the substance of the movie is trying to say. Yeah. I personally, when I first saw this movie, I was with you guys. Like, I was like, I want Edgar Wright action. Like, it's going to be super fast-paced. It's going to be... I just wanted the movie to fucking... Like, I wanted to come out and just be like, it rips! And just say that, and it's good.
Not to cut you off, but the way that the trailers come off is that way. It's like, this is like super, like, non-stop action, doesn't let go. It's like him running throughout and trying to fight these guys. And it's not like the trailers really represent. And you were saying when you first saw this that it's almost like the show, the game show is like permeating, like it's coming out of the movie itself and it's taking over.
I think what Edgar Wright does here is very smart.
Yeah.
Because, and not to like give him credit for something he might have not intended to do, but this is kind of what happened. So a lot of the scenes with the network that runs the show in the movie are the most colorful production design, the most vibrant, the most lively, the most energetic, the most action-packed, because that's where the bloodlust is.
Funny is all.
Exactly. That's where the bloodlust is. That's like, oh, it's all good freebie. It's all a good show, and you're putting on a good show. And I think what Edgar Wright does is very smart, because by making the film in that way, it almost guarantees that the marketing, which is not in his control at the end of the day, is going to be marketed like the show itself within the film is.
Yeah.
It's going to be, oh, welcome to the Running Man. Holy shit. This is going to be all sorts of fucking crazy action. You're going to see carnage and you're going to see all this stuff. So it immediately, even before you watch the movie, you are in the shoes of the audience watching the show in the movie. And your own desire for bloodlust and desire for carnage involving this character that's just trying to support his family is being kind of reflected back at you by the movie, and it's setting you up for that before you even walk in the door, because Edgar Wright chose the most flair in the network scenes. That is the stuff that's going to get advertised. It's going to get funneled through the advertisement of like, we're only going to show the action in those trailers because that's what we want to bring people into the theater for. Yeah. And then Edgar Wright kind of draws you in with that, and then it's like, hey, by the way, you know, the reason you want so much action is because you really, like, you know, you want to see see all this carnage, but you have to have the message with that, and it's the movie is trying to kind of reflect back at you the way that powerful corporations and people and corrupt people at the top really redirect the anger of the working class at each other, turn the struggle into spectacle, like you were saying, where you kind of feel like you have no other choice but to perform your own struggle for money. And like, so the way that that's what I didn't expect about this film, is the way that they kind of frame Ben Richards as this evil bad guy, and they like invent this whole narrative about him, and they're like, that's just showbiz, don't worry about it. But like, they invent this whole narrative about him because of course the audience has to want them to kill him. Yeah. And so that's how you do that.
And you could really see that in the fact that The Running Man, it's like, so it's uncensored. They see these guys getting killed on screen, and they're rooting for it. It's like, yeah, I want to see like these horrible acts happening to these people. Like,
they don't realize it's them. They don't realize it's literally them.
And yet when I don't know, they're like goons or cops or whatever, when they die during an explosion, it's all ceremonious, and it's like, oh, we just lost a bunch of great men and women. And it's so sad that we lost these guys, and yet they're celebrating the deaths of all these other people in the show, because it's always turning and spinning the narrative.
It's a very fun,
and you're seeing that in today as well with like all these ICE raids and stuff. It's crazy. It's like, I'm sure if an ICE agent were to if a bunch of ICE agents were to die, you would see, without a doubt, the White House and everybody being like, oh, we just lost a bunch of great men and women who were defending our nation.
Right, but whatever they're doing to immigrants is not treated the same
but
way.
The fact that they're just taking out these immigrants or kidnapping these people, they're just covering that up. And the only reason we're even seeing this is because of other people's, taking video and
it's like, it's almost like when Ben at the end of the film is like, record and report the guys that are actually doing this, and that's what people are doing in real life, which is good. But here's another thing, it's very a fun juxtaposition what you're getting at, where they're usually in an action movie. You are so worried about the main character, and you're like, oh, this guy is going to die. And I mean, this one, of course, you are too. But you're like, oh, the tension is high. Like, this one guy needs to, survive this situation. But in a lot of action movies, when you see, goons and, and extras just get fucking taken out, it's like, it's candy. It's like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. And so in this movie, it has this funny inverse satirical spin on it, where all of the faceless extras that are getting taken out in these encounters are treated so ceremoniously, whereas Ben Richards is the one within the narrative that everyone's like, just fucking kill him. It'd be fun if you killed him. Yeah. Whereas these other guys, it's like, no, they're so great. So it's this inverse of how the audience would actually react to an action movie. And that's this kind of deconstruction of how we engage with entertainment, what the entertainment that we engage with, who it actually feeds, and what we can get out of it. And I think it's got a lot of balance. It's a balancing act, this film, and I think it's totally fair if you think it doesn't work, but that is essentially what your enjoyment of this movie is dependent on, is how much you are able to, how much that lands for you, the balancing act Edgar Wright is doing between engaging in the carnage, indulging in it, and trying to send a message at the same time. Yeah. And if you feel that balance strikes decent enough, I think you will really like this film. I mean, if you're listening, you've probably seen it. Yeah. But I think that is essentially what this is all about.
A lot of people that have also criticized this is Glenn Powell's performance. Yes. Which I think it's fine. I don't think it is great, but I don't think it's terrible either.
I think he's perfectly serviceable in this movie. He is going against type a bit. He's a little angry. He's not grinning and smiling and doing the charming Glenn Powell thing all the time.
I do find this interesting that Glenn Powell is always playing a character that's trying to be other characters. Yeah, and putting on makeup, like in Hitman, and with his new show, Chad Powers, where he has to put on prosthetics and whatnot to change his face. I just find it interesting that a man who's considered so attractive, conventionally attractive, who's always trying to hide behind different faces and look different and be kind of weird and a bit corny and cheesy at sometimes. And that's kind of why I like Glenn Powell. I don't think he's like the greatest actor of all time or anything, but he's serviceable, and he gives uh he gives more to himself than just his attractiveness and the fact that he could be a leading man. He could be funny and weird and kind of a little silly at times.
Yeah, and
too.
he's working with a lot of great filmmakers like Linklater and stuff too.
And he's worked with Katie O'Brien again with this movie, where he was also working with her in Twisters, and he's very supportive of the people that he works with, and he'll work with them again, and he'll support them with what they're doing, and I just think he's kind of a cool guy.
Yeah, I mean, he comes into my job sometimes, and I've never been there when he's there, so I've never met him, but my coworkers say he's cool.
Yeah.
I wish I was there to meet him one day, maybe one day. I was kind of this weekend, I was like, the Running Man's out, maybe he'll pull up, but of course he's probably doing a bunch of press stuff for it, and is very busy. Speaking of, you mentioned Katie O'Brien. There's a lot of supporting characters in this movie that Ben Richards crosses paths with, and I think a lot of these characters aren't like fully fleshed out as human beings, but I don't think they're meant to be. I think they're more meant to be tools for the world building, and also for Ben Richards' character arc. By the end, he kind of like gains something with each encounter. It kind of snowballs by the end, and I think each of these characters is able to make an impression with brief screen time because of just how great the actors are and how much fun they are to watch.
Yeah.
As well as the fact that like this movie is a little bit video game like, and I mean literally there's like an animated video game like sequence showing like how the rules of the game work. It's like it's very much trying to be almost a little cheesy on purpose in its action movie-ness. And so when he encounters these characters, it's almost like a little video game like cutscene where you get like you get something new out of it.
Like when he goes to William H. Macy and he gives him all the disguises and what he needs to kind of be the Running Man.
Yeah, and there's also like a script thing that I notice here where he mentions this explosive called Black Irish.
Yeah.
He's like, holy shit, is that Black Irish? And he's like, I'm not taking that. Not like I'd ever put that in my pocket. And then at the end, of course, he's pretending like it's in his pocket to cut a deal with the network. And like, so there's a lot of things like that are very obvious callbacks.
I do like this movie quite a bit, but I think my biggest criticism is the writing. And I think that's due to Michael Bacall. I don't want to be mean and say that the movie's bad because of the writer, but I just feel like it can be on the nose. It can be very like cheesy, and obviously it seems like they're trying to homage to films of the late 80s, 90s, and those big action movies of those times with a lot of one-liners and things of that sort, but sometimes it just doesn't work as well in this movie. Like it could be very, very much on the nose, and I think that it just makes sense that I have similar problems with Scott Pilgrim. Not necessarily in terms of like the dialogue. The dialogue is actually quite like quippy and fun, but the characters aren't as likable, and some of the situations like I guess we have to go through this right now. But and that's the only other movie in which Edgar Wright has worked with Michael Bacall. So I think there's kind of this recurring thing where the script is just a bit different than other Edgar Wright scripts, which he's a co-writer on this as well. I think
Michael
it is.
Michael Bacall did the first draft.
I think it might be the other way around, maybe.
No, I literally I think saw an interview with Edgar Wright where he wrote a draft. Like Michael wrote a draft, and then I think they collaborated after that.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know who has what on, like who's writing what on what, but I feel like maybe with a few more drafts or a few more or if Edgar Wright maybe took more control with the script, I think it could have been tighter, a little better. But that's really my only biggest criticism with the movie.
I would actually probably agree with that. I think, just some of the stuff that's a little on the nose, a little ham-fisted at times, but again, it almost is like two energies being matched between the action and the political commentary.
Yeah.
It's almost like the cheesiness of the action kind of bleeds into to kind of the corniness of the social commentary and how it's presented sometimes. So it does feel tonally consistent for that reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're putting that spin on something serious, it can muddle it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's not perfect, but I like what they're going for a lot, and I think most of it works.
Yeah. I also just want to like talk about how way back in the day, I think it was like 2017, when someone asked Edgar Wright if he would ever do a remake or a reboot of a movie or something, and he said The Running Man that long ago, and how even before that, my idea is always, if you are going to remake a movie, you should remake a movie that isn't considered great. It doesn't need to be considered bad, but you shouldn't be remaking classics like I don't know, Back to the Future or any big movie like that. If you're gonna remake a movie, it has to be a movie that a lot of people, it was probably popular but not well regarded. And I think Running Man's like the perfect movie to be remade. And I think Edgar Wright, like, he understood that too. And like I think it works really well with his style and what he's going for with this movie, because he does homage a lot of the movies of that time period and kind of makes the original he just makes everything that could have been great in the original, and he does that with this movie.
Right.
Like every lost opportunity with that first Running Man movie, he puts into this movie. And it's also more accurate, I guess, to the book as well. So not only do you get fans of the Stephen King book, but you also get fans of the people who love the movies of the 90s, the action movies of the 90s, and it's kind of like this perfect merge of the two.
Also, the book takes place in 2025, which is the year this movie comes out and takes place in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Very convenient that it matches perfectly.
Yeah.
And also, the tagline on the back of the book or whatever says, in 2025, the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about more of the supporting cast, as
Sure.
we mentioned. Katie O'Brien in the movie as one of the other runners, as well as Martin Herlihy. I think that's how you say his name.
He's like an SNL writer.
Yeah, so one of the guys, they kind of establish in the movie that there's three types of runners that are always on. There's always like the one who's kind of careless and doesn't give a fuck, and that's Katie O'Brien. She's just trying to party and go out with a bang, everything. And then there's the Martin Herlihy character is like the one that just doesn't understand the danger, like doesn't even have a concept of like how crazy this is, and he's just like, I don't know, he kind of wants clout in a weird way, like he just has no understanding. He thinks it's like making him famous, so he just gets offed immediately.
He like, I think there's a part in it where he's like, yeah, I used to think these were all fake, but like it's kind of becoming real now.
Yeah, it's
but even still, then they just it's just over his head.
He doesn't understand that it's actually they're really going to kill you. Even when he gets caught, he's like, oh man, like he lost a game, but he doesn't. I don't think he realized until the bullet hit him that he's actually gonna fucking die. Daniel Ezra plays a Running Man analyst character that kind of breaks all of that down. He's actually quite great in the movie. I love his little like YouTube video style thing that you get a little more like Edgar Wright kind of sensibilities in that. And it's quite funny. I do think when they bring it back at the end, it's a little it's just a little too much exposition packed into that one scene. I see why they did it, but it kind of sprints to the end.
The first time watching it, I did feel that, but the second time watching it, I was a bit more okay with it. It's kind of like it's like watching The Running Man and seeing all that happen, and then you're kind of like, what happened? And then you kind of have to go to YouTube and look at all these opinions on what people are saying about it, and then you come up to like this video of this guy saying, well, he's still alive, or and I think that's kind of what it's kind of replicating, I think, in that way.
Yes. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine enough. You also have Amelia Jones from Coda,
Yeah,
who
I love her. She's great.
I know. I'm so glad to see her again. I actually didn't know it was her the first time I saw it,
Oh.
and then I had to look at the cast, and I was like, "Oh shit, that was her." She plays a kind of character who is aloof to the whole how all of this lower class society works.
Yeah,
and
it's kind of like a representation of like this upper class a person who sees all this stuff on social media and all, and
they fall for propaganda.
They fall for it, yeah, and which is just unfortunate because that's a lot of people today.
Yeah.
And they have to kind of be put into that situation where it's like, no, this is real. This is what's happening to people, and the fact that the only reason you're on board is because you're now in this situation, and you would not have been more willing to see their side of the story unless you were put into this situation. And that's a lot of people today too. Like they're so willingly ignorant about all the I guess injustices of the world, but they don't see that this also affects them until it literally knocks at the door and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're part of the show now, welcome to the Running Man. Yeah, I do think the character, again, it is one of those things where she is clearly an idea as a character. She's like, we need something to represent how an upper class individual who's just part of regular society as well would perceive all of this. And so we get that through her.
I think she does come in a bit late in the movie. I wish they would have introduced her a bit earlier. I don't see a way in which they could have.
Maybe they could have just had her like cross paths somehow.
That is something that they do in the first movie where the Arnold Schwarzenegger comes into contact with this one lady who thinks that he's like a bad guy very earlier on in the movie, and then they kind of go throughout the movie like getting to know each other and like seeing like, oh, this is not your fault, this is like it's all a part of the big corporate like system. Anyway, I would have liked to see a bit more of her and her character in the movie, but I mean, she works with what they kind of compounded very easily and very fast to what you're supposed to get out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is what this character is for. Yeah. And so that's why I think it's best viewed as a little bit video gamey. Yeah. And like I said, it's the fusion of the 90s throwback kind of cheesiness intentionally with this 2020s social commentary. And I think there is a place for that. Yeah. Because it is so overt in its, like, these action movies that we're talking about. A lot of them are very overt in what they're doing, and it's kind of like you cut and dry, like you get what you get out of it. And unfortunately today, when you're delivering relevant social commentary, sometimes you have to be a little loud about it. Yeah. And you have to be like, guys, that Amelia Jones character, that's you. Yeah. I feel like there's at least one person that watched this movie this weekend and was like, oh, that's me. Yeah. And kind of had some realization. And if that is true, then it's worth it. Yeah. You know? So
that's kind of the weird balancing act with a lot of these movies, is that you could either be subtle with it or you could be loud with it. And if you're too subtle with it, people are just, it's going to go over their head. They're not going to see what the message is actually trying to say. But if you're too loud with it, people are like, oh, you're just on the nose. You're just hitting me on the head with a hammer with this.
Some people need that,
and
though.
Some people need that. Some people really do need to be told what's wrong with the world and how they need to be more aware of what's happening.
Yes. Superman, great example. Like, that movie has very obvious socio-political themes. And I think because it's a superhero movie, people are going to try to write that off and be like, oh, you're reaching. It's not that deep. It's a fun superhero movie. So the movie has to be very obvious. It's like, okay, but if you deny this, you're actually just willfully ignorant. Also, Michael Cera is in the movie, Scott Pilgrim Reunion, and he is one of the best parts.
It's always great to see Michael Cera in a movie. Always. There's never a time in which I'm like, oh, here's this guy. No, it's always like, yes. I love that he's in this right now.
He's so good.
He's so great. He's like, there's just something about him. You just like he's likable. He's weird. He's nerdy, but he's also like, in a weird way, he's sometimes really cool. But he's great in this movie. He does add a bit more of that Edgar Wrightness to it in a sense because
he's got a Home Alone house.
Yeah, which is really
that's
really
one of
fun.
the best action scenes in the movie.
I love the part in which they're like, don't talk about hot dogs, and then he's like, okay, what's the hot dog thing about? And then he goes into this backstory, and it really reminds me of Gremlins when you haven't seen Gremlins.
I've seen Gremlins.
So the part where Phoebe
Cates.
Yeah, when she talks about like her dad, like why she doesn't celebrate Christmas because her dad, like that stuff. Like it really reminded me.
It is
that.
crazy. He's like, "What's with the hot dog cart?"
And then he just like the music.
My dad
kicks
was
in.
a cop.
Yeah, the music kicks in and it goes into this backstory, and
it's so funny.
And he already has like a little projector lined up with all the pictures on it. He's like, "This is pictures of my dad."
It's like he wanted to like kind of be nonchalant about it, but he really wanted him to ask about the cart because he really. This is the thing. The thing with this character is that he has the right. He's in the right headspace about like the we need an initiator for this thing. If you're gonna win this game, you might as well take it all the way and like try to actually make some change with it. Don't just join the system afterwards and be like a rich guy. That's just gonna like it. Don't just leave this for someone else to go through again. Yeah. All this stuff. And he has a good point about that. But then also, this is a character that, like a lot of the audience in The Running Man, wants the action. He wants the adrenaline of the situation, and so he allows for Edgar Wright to bring that into the movie as well. And I think having a former Edgar Wright star play that character makes so much sense because he is the guy. He's like, yeah, I get what this movie's about, but also let's have a little fun too. You know what I mean? And that's why he also is like, please ask about the cart, basically.
Yeah, I also think it's very, especially with the mom character and how she's so bloodlust as well. And he was like, yeah, she used to be a kind woman, but now with his father dying and like the system's like really latching on to these unfortunate like older people, they just get lost in it, and that's happening a lot today with all the conspiracy theories and all these older folks just watching like AI stuff and thinking it's real.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of AI deepfakes.
There's a lot of AI deepfakes. There's, if anything, this movie is warning you people about. It's like they will use AI to make you look bad,
and to make themselves look better. Yeah.
So people need to be more like wary of that stuff. I wasn't really expecting it to be so upfront about it, but no, that happens several times in this movie. Where it's like, hey, you can make a video, but we're gonna switch it out and make you.
Yeah, if
look
he
like
says anything that would incriminate the network, they just make him look worse. It's like a punishment.
Yeah.
And then we also get, speaking of the network, Josh Brolin and Coleman Domingo. So Josh Brolin is the exec that convinces Ben to join the show. Coleman Domingo is the host. Fucking best part of the fucking
every
movie.
Single time he's on screen, it's fantastic.
The thrill of the hunt. Just like it's this huge action scene and then it fades out. It just fades in. The thrill of the hunt. It just gives this great monologue.
He's perfect in this role, and I almost wish he was in it more, but he just
the
eats
second
it up so
he
well.
shows up,
it's
like, oh my god.
It's great. Josh Brolin's also really good. He has like fake teeth.
Yeah, he has veneers. Yeah,
which,
he looks fucking ridiculous. I love it. Yeah,
but I also like how I actually really like how he portrays the character as like he feels like he's on your side for a second until the shit hits the fan.
He also has the confidence about him.
Yeah,
like I can't lose. I'm too big to fail. Sort of thing.
And he's also very much one step ahead of the game, like consistently.
Yes.
Until the very end, where kind of the revolution starts and they're trying to bring him down. But he's a really good villain in this movie. I think it might be understated, but I think this is a very like he's actually a very smart and evil character that I think you could probably see a lot of in today's society, but they're not the head of the corporations. Like with Coleman Domingo, he's kind of the face of that, but like in the movie suggest, they don't know who this guy is, and when he talks to Ben Richards for the first time, is like, this is the first time we're seeing our producer, and he needs to talk to Ben Richards directly. uh he's the guy behind, he's the wizard behind Wizard of Oz, you know.
Basically, yeah.
And I feel like there's probably a lot of people like that with these big companies and corporations that we just do not see, but they're probably very evil and very
like polite but
yeah,
evil. Yeah.
like they're very easily able to make you do things that you probably don't want to do.
Right. And it's interesting. It's like Ben Richards' anger is told. He's told, yeah, that's your greatest strength. Just like fucking go wild, like shake your dick at the crowd,
Yeah.
do whatever. It's almost, again, it plays into the style of the movie. It's like, yeah, go nuts. But
And-
what do you get from that?
And
You know?
I also love the part where he's like, I say this to every competitor, but
This is the first time I've meant it, and you just know he said it
he
exactly
said that,
like that.
yeah,
to other
because he's
people.
like, even when he's like, do whatever, say cuss at the, shake your dick at the, and then Coleman Domingo right after, he's like, don't shake your dick at the cameras, it's bad. It's showing that even though Coleman Domingo didn't hear him say that, he said this to contestants before.
Right.
So he's just repeating the same thing over and over to all these
Yeah.
contestants to hype them up and rile them up.
There is, like, as obvious as a lot of the movie is, there is some really clever shit here as well. Lee Pace is also in the movie as the head hunter, and he was a former runner that survived 29 days, and then he took the deal to become a hunter instead of losing, I guess.
Yeah. But he wears a mask the entire time, like
yeah, so they can't tell who he is. Yeah.
The hunters are cool. I do wish there was a bit more to his character. They kind of reveal like who he is, like very near the end of the movie, and
there's just not a lot of chances to get scenes with him.
Yeah.
I think he's well cast. I think it makes sense. Lee Pace has a very,
he's very tall and menacing.
Tall, menacing. He's also just got this voice about him that's like almost like a video game villain character. And yeah, he
looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool in the movie.
He's got the cool weapons, the Destiny and the Fate.
Yes. Oh, I love how it switches, because in the ad he's like, you may hide from Destiny, but you can't outrun Fate, because he's got the gun that says Fate. And at the end, Ben Richards disarms him or whatever, and he says, you may have outran Fate, but you can't hide from Destiny. He pulls out the knife.
Yeah.
So it's funny how it kind of got switched.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Fate gun is also what Ben Richards used to execute Dan Killian at the very end of the movie. So that's kind of a cool callback. So, yeah, let's talk about, I guess, a few of the movies that very obviously influenced this movie or that feel like they're present.
Yeah, like it's called The Running Man because it's a man on the run, and a lot of these men on the run movies like The Fugitive, Minority Report, Total Recall, like very very much it's almost like he's, even though this is a Stephen King adaptation, it's almost like Edgar Wright's trying to do a Philip K. Dick adaptation, like, you know, Minority Report, where these guys are on the run and they're up against these technologies that could get them very easily, but they outwit everybody and they use their resources to get by.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of the paranoid thriller aspects of the movie come from that, whereas I think the action comes from something maybe more like Die Hard.
Die Hard, Air Force One, Get Off My Plane. Even Home Alone with the section with Michael Cera,
which is also basically Die Hard for kids.
Yeah,
so there's that.
He said that Brazil was a
I saw an interview where he mentioned that in a Q&A for a screening, someone said it reminded them of Brazil, the world building, and he was like, yes. So I guess Brazil is a movie.
Because Brazil is very like this weird dystopian future where bureaucracy just takes over and nothing could happen, nothing can get done, and he's constantly trying to get I think trying to find this girl, but he can't. Great movie, but it could be also very stressful in a way, and that makes sense with that one scene where he gets in line, he helps the guy out who's like puking up blood, and then he has to go back in the line. Then he reaches the guy, and he's like, "What's that triangle on my record?" And he won't. There's like this big bureaucracy that's like just taking over the world, and it's hard to get through.
What is the time?
But what else was that? Oh, I also saw a lot of Sugarland Express in this movie.
Fair enough. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's like when he takes Amelia hostage. That's like Sugarland Express, where they take a cop hostage and they're trying to find him, and everybody's supporting him instead of being like, "Oh, help her, or stop kidnapping her." And she's like, "Why are they supporting you when I'm the victim?" It's like, no, I'm the victim. I'm the guy being put through Running Man. There's also another scene that reminded me of Sugarland Express, but I can't quite remember what. But there was a like two scenes that really reminded me of that, and we all know that Edgar Wright is also a big fan of Spielberg. So, and I just obviously I had to call that out since I'm the biggest Spielberg fan between the two of us.
That's true.
I feel like there were more other movies that this movie reminded me of, but I can't really think of it. But a lot of homages to like 90s movies.
Any Man on the Run
movies.
paranoid thriller action movie is definitely an inspiration on this one. I do just think overall the movie is kind of a deconstruction of how entertainment is, especially nowadays, the direction that it's heading in. I think, again, that's kind of why Edgar Wright dilutes a little bit of the flashiness and really puts it... I mean, I just remember coming home from this movie because I saw it earlier than you.
Yeah.
I was just telling you, you were like, "So, was it great?" And I was just like, "Yeah, but like," I was like, he's cooking with this in a different way. Like he's pulling back on purpose. And I remember you just like seeming very excited in the way I described the movie, and I'm so glad that you actually got that out of it.
Yeah.
Because there was a slight worry that in the back of my mind that you were gonna go see it and you were gonna be like, "No, you're just making excuses. The movie was trash, bro."
Yeah.
Like,
no, I love whenever movies are subvertive due to like the director trying to do something different than what he's used to. Like I love whenever directors are trying to be versatile and do something that we haven't seen before in terms of their own filmographies. So when you were saying that he's kind of subverting his own auteur sense of like being very edit heavy, stylistic and witty with his movies, and this is a little toned down in terms of that, then I was like, okay, I want to see what he really does with this and what's different and what he's really trying to say, and I think it works. And again, the fact that people are saying that Edgar Wright's nowhere to be found with this movie, you guys are like one of our friends has said, you guys are probably blind and deaf, because there's no way you're watching this movie and you're like, oh, Edgar Wright's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, like, this is not anybody could have directed it.
Yeah.
Like, this is not an anonymous film like so many people are making it out to be. And it's very frustrating because I feel I called it. I made a video the day I saw this. I saw it like 4 days early, and I was like, guys, you're gonna be disappointed by this movie. Not that it's not disappointing to me. I think it's a great movie, but you guys are going to like. I just knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and everyone said the same thing. And I get it. It's not as flashy. You know, if you're expecting another Baby Driver, or another Hot Fuzz, or another whatever, Scott Pilgrim, then of course it's not going to seem like, oh, he's nowhere to be found. No, he just adapts to the material. I mean, I kind of saw this in my first clue into this was like the opening credits of the film, because the film before that in the I guess prologue had been quite tame. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's kind of, you know, I could tell this character's ready to burst, but it's kind of tame right now. And then when Ben is walking through the streets and you get that great needle drop of the song Underdog, and it's the opening credits of the movie as he's walking to try out. It's a movie called The Running Man. They literally say this in the movie. He's watching the other contestant on the TV at one point, and he's just like, "It's the fucking Running Man. Why are you walking?"
Yeah.
You know? And I was thinking that too. I was like, "Oh, he's just walking," but this movie's called The Running Man, and it's like this needle drop, but he's just walking through the streets, and he's laying low, and there's these tanks, and he's just you could tell he's upset, and he like wants to do something, he wants to help all these people, but like he can't. He's just kind of like just going to do what he's got to do. And I'm like, this is like the antithesis to the Baby Driver opening. And it's doing the same thing. Like in Baby Driver, you have this opening credits where Baby is walking through the streets. It's so lively, and the lyrics are matching with the backdrops, and the rhythm of everything is perfect. And because that's how the world feels to Baby. He's listening to this music, the music and the movie. The world of the movie follows the rhythm because that's how it feels for him. It just helps him like lock in, and like everything kind of works when he's listening to his music. And this movie is just.
You just see the oppressiveness of everything. Everything is oppressive in this world. Even when we see the title Running Man, it's not like a title. It's literally an advertisement for the Running Man in the movie.
Yeah.
And it is him just kind of. I just love all the small details that he puts in the background of his movies, and all the little like whenever you see them get the suits for the first time, they go into this room and everybody's names. If you look at the names, they're all names of like famous actors.
Yes.
Like you saw like Wesley. I think Wesley. There was Walken. There was just a bunch of names of. I don't know how he picked the names for those, but it seemed like a bunch of like movie actors from like action movies of the 90s and 80s that he's really pulling from.
Yeah, and shit, you got Arnold on the new dollar bills too.
Yeah, you got Arnold on the new dollar bills. There was I think a restaurant called Bachman's, which is a pseudonym,
Richard Bachman, yeah,
for Stephen King. And I just love the little details that he puts in, like the little background of his movies. And again, that's something he does with his movies. He has a lot of details just stuffed in every frame of his movies that people don't really see on the first watch. There's that one scene where he has the mustache and the wig on for the first time,
and he's moving with the screen,
with the poster in the background, which is very similar to Hot Fuzz when you see Timothy Dalton, and then you have the picture of him in the back.
I love that moment because it is almost a microcosm of how Edgar Wright's directing the movie.
Yeah.
He's in disguise, but you can still tell it's him. He's doing the motions with the he's working with the I guess you could say the studio system or like whatever's behind him. It's like these two are the same, but it's like he's kind of laying low in this movie.
Also,
and I just think it's great.
Another thing that makes this very much an Edgar Wright movie is the soundtrack, which like the music sounds like Edgar Wright music, like any one of these songs I could hear in Baby Driver and it's also very interesting because I was telling you this earlier that most movies that take place in some kind of dystopia or some kind of alternate reality, they don't really use soundtracks.
Needle drops, no.
Yeah, because if it's in an alternate reality, they wouldn't have those music. They wouldn't have these artists making the music.
Well,
but
this music is not even diegetic either, though.
No, it's just something to keep the movie up with pace, and it's a stylistic choice. But you never see this in movies like this. And of course, Edgar Wright is going to do that because this is an Edgar Wright movie, and he is not here. He's very present with the making of this film, and it feels like the type of movie he would make. Even the editing, a lot of people were like, it's not edited enough, and like flourishy with its editing. But
there are some cool fucking edits.
There's some great edits in this movie where it does get really when the action is happening, it's very cutty. Also the flying cameras, like whenever he's shooting it like normally, it's kind of shot like a fairly normal movie, but when the
The drones.
The drones come in. It's way more stylistic, way more
again
kinetic.
Capitalizing on the fact that the network has that more lively edge to it. That like that great shot from the trailer of him running through the halls getting shot at is actually in the trailer they hide it, but in the movie it's shot through the network drone.
Yeah.
And it's like that's because the drone's flying after him. So like that is I guess it's almost like a diegetic camera.
Yeah.
In the movie that is
very cool. Every time you see something that's shot by the network, it has more of those obvious Edgar Wright flourishes.
Yeah, like when Katie O'Brien's getting shot at in the casino, same thing.
Yeah.
And then those two little kids burn her alive.
Oh,
which is fucking brutal.
That's what reminded me of Sugarland Express. Is instead of the cops in Sugarland Express, a bunch of these random vigilante people try to take on the couple, and they just shoot up everything, and it's like, no, you guys are messing it up. But this kind of reminded me of that because it was instead of the hunters or the goons or whatever, or the cops or whatever, it's these two kids with flamethrowers that take her out, and which is crazy.
Yeah.
But that just reminded me of that.
And so I guess to kind of give my bow tie on this, I want to say that a lot of people, when I have a take on a movie such as this, where I'm like, no, it's tactical, you know. First of all, Edgar Wright did say, he was like, we made the movie we wanted to make.
Yeah,
like that's something he said when I was researching this. I think a lot. It really does say a lot about how people view movies sometimes on the online spaces, and how the opinion can kind of form into this giant. It kind of like just forms into this giant ball where everyone's like, "Oh yeah, exactly." Because
like
at first glance,
it's an echo chamber.
At first glance, you could definitely accuse this movie of some of this stuff. But I think if you really just think about it for 2 seconds, like it's very clear that these are choices being made in the film. And again, nobody is saying you have to like these choices or think that they work. But a lot of people are throwing, oh, he didn't put any effort. He's on autopilot. Again, that is the opposite of what's happening.
Yeah.
Autopilot would be to just make this look like every other movie that he's made.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier that a lot of people, some of the loudest voices on the internet, on YouTube, are these reviewers.
TikTok too.
Yeah, they're loud because they have such a basic meteor.
It's hyperbolic.
Yeah, and they're just I just feel like there's a lot of people talking about movies who just aren't qualified to talk about movies. That might be something mean to say, or might make me sound pretentious in saying that, but there's so many people talking about movies, giving their opinions about movies, and other people listening to these people talk about these movies, and they are not qualified to be talking about the movies in the way that. Obviously, you could take these opinions from these people and just see them as opinions from these people, but a lot of people are not just taking it as opinion; they're taking it as like, oh, so the movie's bad, so the movie's not good. So that's an obvious thing. It's like, no, it's not.
They get into this weird like instinct where they see their favorite reviewer likes or dislikes something, and they say, "Oh, okay, so this is what I think now."
Yeah.
A lot of the time, they haven't seen the movie, right? Or they don't want to form their own opinion on it, so they just don't care to watch it. And I think when you say people aren't qualified to talk about movies, we're not trying to gatekeep. We're not trying to say you can't have your opinion on the movie, whatever you feel about it, but
it's very surface level with what they're talking about.
It's not just that. I think there is literally, like, I saw a creator say this, and I agree, like, there should be, like, a little license you can get that just says, I can actually sit and engage with a movie for, like, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who do not, like, they just completely let the movie, what I like to say is they let the movie occur in their field of vision.
Yeah.
Which is, like, watching a movie is a genuine activity.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually something you have to, like, do.
Yeah.
It's not just you're sitting and looking at the screen and hearing it, because it's like sometimes people are watching this shit but they're not seeing it. They're hearing it but they're not listening to it.
There's a sense of participation that you need to have with it's like
there's a 50-50 situation between you and the movie, because the movie is a Rorschach test. A lot of movies are populated by, actually every movie pretty much is populated by the subconscious of the viewer. So whatever your tastes are and your natural kind of intuition about things is going to inform how the movie it is. And I think a lot of people just need to try and be more curious instead of condemning a movie immediately. There's a creator on TikTok that, I'll just say his name is Rate and See.
He's horrible.
Hey man, like, I'm not trying to be,
not
in case someone knowing this person or this person is listening, I'm not trying to be like, attacking this person as a human being, obviously.
But what they do,
I don't respect what you're doing, because it is extremely negative consistently. You're bullying movies that are not even considered good, and just making 10 fucking videos in a row on like the same movie and just talking about nitpicking things.
And he's talking about movies as if they're objective, like, oh, this is obviously bad, this is not good, this is obviously like not like. It's not obvious. Well, it's all opinion based, and your opinion is that the movie's not good because of your opinion of what a movie is supposed to be.
Yeah, you're trying to project a basically a checkbox of this is what a movie needs to do in order to be good, or like I literally saw this. He's like, this is how you can tell you're watching a bad movie. Like he's teaching a class on like how to tell when a movie is bad.
Which is the worst. Don't tell me how to feel about a movie.
Yeah.
Don't like. I truly don't like this person and how they talk about movies. Like, not personal. I don't know the guy, but based on what I see and what he's giving out, what he's telling people to think about movies, no, I don't like you at all, and I don't like what you're saying about movies. You're not being constructive at all. You're very destructive of the movies that you're talking about, and you're not helping anybody.
I agree, and like I said, not trying to be mean, not trying to say you're not like a good person on the, like I don't know you. It's parasocial.
I don't know you, but from what I see of you, I don't like you. I don't like you at all.
Yeah, I don't like the bio. We deserve better movies. Okay, I'm sorry. This was just on. This is something I saw recently, and I feel like it plays into the conversation we're trying to have about The Running Man and how people view these things and the negativity that kind of permeates the whole space all the time. So that's why I'm bringing this up as an example.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, no personal offense. Wish you well as a person, but your content, I don't like it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, your content is like, it's like rage bait, like bull crap. Like, it's awful. It's truly awful. I would actually be more surprised if you made a video talking well about a movie that most people don't like. My opinion of your opinion is that your opinion sucks. That's just that's
and you
my
can
take.
Feel the same.
Yeah.
Anyone is allowed to feel the same way about us, but that's our opinion on The Running Man.
Yeah.
Sorry to make an example out of a specific person, but this is just it's a huge problem in the way that people look at movies and they say, well, for a movie to be good, it has to look like this, sound like this, be like this, when in fact movies are all different, all like a different shape, all with different intentions and goals, and you have to take the movie at its own level and what it's actually trying to be, and that's not even like me saying you have to like or dislike anything. I'm just saying you should at least approach it by trying to think, okay, what are they going for with this movie? Yeah. That's it.
And even if you're just giving your own opinion about the movie that's negative, okay, don't tell me like you're trying to teach a class. Don't tell me like I'm supposed to have the same opinion as you. Like, also the fact that you're like, there aren't as much good movies nowadays. 2025 has been one of the greatest years for film in recent like years. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
We deserve better movies. We have fantastic movies coming out every month.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, if you're only focusing on the negative and on what you don't like, then of course it's going to look that way. It kind of paints this picture that cinema is dying when you're just like, why isn't every movie like this other thing, or like this good movie or whatever. So I don't know. That's just the problem in large with.
If anything, what I'm trying to say is stop looking at these reviewers and these film critics and just watch the movie yourself and get your own opinion yourself, and stop taking these other people's opinions as gospel and like, oh yeah, they're 100% right about this movie and I haven't even seen the movie.
Turn it off.
Yeah, turn it off.
Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Now listen, obviously, like The Running Man being a studio film, there's an irony to what we're saying, because we are a movie podcast talking about don't listen to reviewers, just like Ben Richards is on the show being like, turn it off.
Yeah.
But my point with all of this is to say that I think there's a way that we can be positive and have a healthy discussion about movies, and there's a way, and a lot of people are making the bargain for views because the negativity.
It's all about clout now.
As this film even shows, the negativity and the carnage and takedown takes of movies where it's like, oh, let's just fucking roast this movie like to no end and nitpick the shit out of it, even though it's like already considered mediocre.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You know? And focusing on the negative of stuff is a huge problem. And so, like, our goal here is to talk about movies we like, or at least try to see from the filmmaker's perspective and ask the question, why did this get made this way? Was it, studio interference? Did something go wrong? What do they, what does this tell us about the greater world of cinema and also film responses and criticism and how all that works? So yeah, like, I think watching and engaging with reviewers is totally fine, but you should also watch the movie. You shouldn't take the review. Again, reviewers are, in a way, a reference point.
Yeah. Because
when you really get to know the voice of a reviewer of movies, like if you listen to several of our episodes, you'll probably get an idea of how we look at things on both an individual and a collective level. And so, therefore, you then can use us as a frame of reference and say, okay, so if they said this, and they explained it in this way, then maybe that's not for me.
Yeah.
But you should always give it a try, I think, if you really want to. Like, I hate when people comment on my review of a movie, and they say, I was going to see this, but I'm canceling my tickets because of what you said. No, that's not my goal.
Yeah.
I want to have a discussion about this movie.
Yeah.
I want other people with different opinions to talk to me, too, and tell me why they liked it or
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, you can't say that you're a fan of cinema, you're a film goer, and not watch movies.
Yeah, it really is this kind of closed-minded approach where it's like, yeah, I'm a fan of movies, but I only watch the ones that everyone says are good, so that I like, and then sometimes that's not going to always gel with your taste, and so people actually build this whole other sense of reality and this kind of almost like an echo chamber where they're hearing good buzz about a movie and maybe they don't like it, so then they just like immediately think all movies are trash, and they feel alone in this way. They feel alone, like, oh, everyone raved about Weapons and I hated it, or everyone raved about Superman and I hated it. Maybe you would like movies that people don't rave about, right? But because everyone says that they suck, you don't even try those.
Yeah,
and so then you're kind of stuck in this bubble where you're only consuming things that are getting really, really high, loud acclaim. And even if some of them aren't for you, then you just start to think cinema as a whole is dying.
Yeah.
When really, there's always something for everybody. And your taste has a place, for sure. And there's something you can bring to the discussion, that you're robbing the world of if you're not actually trying to engage with all sorts of different movies and things outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people, like the guy we mentioned, get a lot of their audience from, is this idea that, like, they're only really seeing the stuff. They're only really seeing stuff and not liking it because they're not seeing enough.
Yeah, that's always been my take for as long as it's you watch movies that are considered good, but you also watch movies that are considered bad. You watch every spectrum of every genre of every movie that you can take that interests you, because when you watch a movie that's considered bad, you have to look at it and figure out, why is it considered bad? What do people not like about this? What do I like about this? What do I consider this movie to actually be good? What do I take out of this movie that other people aren't? Or what are other people taking out of this movie that I'm not? And you watch that with every single type of movie that's out there, and then that's when you get to fully understand what your taste in movies are and what you would like to see in the future, or what you would like to see that's been made before that you hadn't heard about. And it really opens up your experiences to watching movies. You just have to watch every single type of movie out there, and you shouldn't, like, if you know for certain that you're not going to like the movie, then you don't have to force yourself to watch
everything.
Yeah,
broadly,
but you have to be
right.
You have to be open to every single movie, even movies that are considered bad. Maybe there's a movie that you were hyped to watch, and then it got a lot of bad reviews. Still watch that movie. It might still be for you. All these other people just aren't.
They're not you.
Yeah.
Literally, they're not you. Like, there are movies that are so, I probably consider so bad and stupid, that have been life-changing for other people, and have caused them to maybe make stuff that I end up liking anyway. Yeah. So it's like, there's this, like, we all have something to contribute, I think. And I think a lot of people are only willing to contribute what's going to satisfy the audience.
And you see all these filmmakers that everybody loves, like Edgar Wright and, Tarantino, Spielberg, Scorsese. All these people are film lovers. They're cinephiles. They watch every type of movie, and that's what dictates what they want to make and how they want to make their own movies.
Right.
And so, if you have a favorite filmmakers, look at what they like. Look at what the movies that they inspire and what they reference. Watch those movies, see what the filmmakers of those movies were inspired in, what they like and what they reference. And then you kind of branch out and get an exploration of all these different types of newer and older movies that inspire all of the filmmakers that you like. And then soon you're watching movies you never thought you would. Even movies that are probably not even considered great, because these filmmakers are watching everything. Yeah. And they're taking from everything.
Yeah, and it honestly is fantastic when you feel like you're finally kind of scratching the itch of, like, what your own taste is.
Yeah.
Like, that was me with Shyamalan, because a lot of my time, I'm pretty easy to please, I'd say, and I'm relatively timid when it comes to movies. Like, it kind of takes a lot for a movie to really piss me off.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time I was like, yeah, I mean, this movie's considered good. I recognize what's good about it, and I liked it. But, for movies that I'm, like, obsessed with, like, it's like, this has a deep, real connection with me as a person. A lot of them fucking suck in the eyes of a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It's just we shouldn't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, are afraid of that. So turn it off.
Yeah.
Like stop filming me. Like, I think this is an interesting movie. Is this kind of our own kind of deconstruction of, like, this type of entertainment that we're involved in.
Yeah.
Because not only are we playing in this game as well, but we're audience members, and we're seeing how everybody's angry at each other, and I think this is a good movie to frame that argument through in a weird way. So I'm going to give The Running Man 4 apples in the box out of 5.
Same thing. 4 apples out of 5 in the box.
Anything?
I think it's great. It has its few flaws in there, but a lot of those flaws make this movie stand out and it gives it the character that it is. And I think a lot of people don't see that. Sometimes the flaws in the movies are what makes the movie great. It's with people too. I mean, a perfect person is boring, but the flaws in certain people are what makes them interesting.
Yeah, it's when a movie, because that's a signal of that a movie tried something.
Yeah.
It did something interesting. So I also agree with you. I think that this movie is excellent. It's not perfect. It's just but I think it's what it needed to be for me
And
to satisfy.
It's saying important things too. It's really actually has a good message for everybody, for people that just take in media like.
Yeah, it's great because it's criticizing the people that run everything.
Yeah.
But it's also looking at the consumer's involvement in that and how, it's empathetic, but it's also very like, hey guys, like sometimes we just need to turn this off. Like we need to actually listen to like what's actually going on and not listen to like the system almost thrives on us being justifiably angry about things because they can just use that to their advantage. And so, very, very interesting film. A lot more compelling than I expected. I'm glad it's not just a run and gun action movie because it's more, in my opinion. It transcended that.
2025 is really just like, it really is one of the best years in film. Like we keep getting just like great movies, just talking about great social problems and issues and injustices that a lot of people really need right now.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. We already said our favorite Edgar Wright movies, Baby Driver.
Yeah, let us know yours.
This might actually be second or third.
Wow, that's okay.
It's pretty
I don't
high
think
up
it
there.
would be above the Cornetto movies or Baby Driver for me, but maybe above Scott Pilgrim and Soho probably. Let us know your favorite Edgar Wright movie. Let us know your favorite, 90s action movie too. Yeah. Let us know what you think about this film and if it worked for you. If it didn't, why or why not. Follow us on all platforms. Please follow us on Spotify. I think that would be a huge help. Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube, run over to the Spotify and follow us there too, and vice versa, of course. Leave us a comment, send us an email.
A great double feature with The Long Walk.
Great double feature with The Long Walk, yes. Another Richard Bachman adaptation from this year. Didn't do an episode on that, but maybe we'll mention it somewhere down the line.
It's also a great movie.
It is a great film. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. I've been Peyton.
And I've been Adryon.
And we'll see you next time on the Apple Box.